Hi, welcome to Living in Elegance. I am Vicki, and I wanted to start honestly with you guys today as I begin this channel and begin walking through this journey with you guys. For years, I lived in a rhythm that looked successful from the outside, but felt very scattered on the inside. I was always responding to emails, to crisis, to expectations, to the emotional weather of other people. I was leading, yes, but I wasn't choosing. There came a point when I realized that I had built a life around managing everything except for myself. I was managing other people. I was managing emotions. I was managing the emotions of other people. I was managing my household. Everything that I touched, I had a hand in. I become excellent at carrying the weight of other people and other things, but it wasn't setting it. I wasn't good at setting it down. Is really where I had the issue. I remember one day sitting at my desk, surrounded by papers, decisions, emails, and feeling a deep ache, not of exhaustion, but of disconnection. I had become a caretaker of everyone else's urgencies. I had a hard time saying no. I had a hard time putting it down. I mastered efficiency, but forgotten ease. And that's when the whisper of elegance began for me. Not as a luxury, not as a performance, because it's not about performance. I was good at performing, but as longing for clarity, for order, for beauty that wasn't decorative but restorative. Elegance for me began as a desire to live intentionally instead of reactively, to create a life that felt aligned with my spirit, with who God called me to be, instead of dictated by my schedule. In Proverbs 31, it says, she's clothed with strength and dignity. For a long time, I thought that meant being endlessly strong, endlessly composed, but now I understand it differently. Strength and dignity are not about perfection. They're about stewardship. They're about choosing what aligns with your values and releasing what doesn't. If it doesn't line up with what God has called me to be, then I don't need to be doing it. They're about living with intention, not exhaustion. As I've slowed down, and I'm still working on it, this is not something I've arrived on, but I began to notice the small things. The way my home felt at the end of the day, the way my body felt, and my body held tension, the way my breath was shallow, the way my spirit longed for beauty that was nourishing rather than impressive. Elegance became a spiritual practice for me, a way of honoring God and the life that God had entrusted me with, because it's about stewardship, stewarding what God has blessed me with, a way of creating order where there had been chaos, a way of choosing peace over performance. And the beautiful thing is, elegance doesn't rush. It doesn't demand, but it invites. It invites you to breathe, to soften, to return to yourself, to return to the woman that God has created you to be. So what's changed and is continuing to change, because I have not arrived. I don't believe I ever will arrive. Honestly, everything has changed so far, but it started small. It's like baby steps. It began with one elegant habit at a time, one beautiful moment of beauty in the day that had felt heavy, one intentional choice in a world full of noise. I began really starting with my morning and my evening routines, slowing those down, taking time to breathe and to treat myself in that area. I started editing my environment as well, cleaning surfaces, simplifying routines, letting go of things that carried that old version of me, that old rushed version that I felt like I was always having to perform. And with every small act of refinement, I felt more and more like myself, more and more like the woman that God had created me to be. I learned that elegance isn't about having more. It's about needing less. It's about editing your life until only the meaningful remains. I started to notice how I spoke to myself, how I carried myself, how I entered a room. That I didn't enter a room rushed and, where I'm on a mission, let's get this taken care of. But it became where I would walk in and be present in the room and be present with the people who I was talking with and who needed my attention at that time. And as my outer world started to soften, my inner world followed. I found myself responding with more grace, more clarity, more intention, more calm authority. And somewhere along the way, I realized I wasn't just choosing elegance, I was choosing myself. If you're here because you feel the same tug, that quiet desire to live differently, I want you to know that you're not alone. Elegance isn't about perfection. We're human beings. We're not perfect. We can never be perfect. But it's about intention. It's about reclaiming your life one small, beautiful choice at a time. Elegance begins in the small moments. The way you breathe, the way you speak to yourself, the way you honor your time and energy. This journey isn't about becoming someone else. It's about returning to the woman that you've always been meant to be, the woman you've been called to be by God. If this message resonates with you, I'd love you to join me on this journey. You can subscribe, share this video with someone who needs a little more peace in their life, or leave a comment about what elegance means to you right now. Your voice does matter here, and I will read and respond to every single comment. I want to end right now with a prayer to pray over you that are watching if you stay to the end. God, I thank you for who you are. I thank you for who you've called us to be. I thank you for the clarity that you've given and the peace that you've given. I thank you for the word that you have. God, I pray over everyone watching this video right now that you would just help us to slow down, to help us to hear your voice, to help us to seek you along this journey, to seek who you've called us to be. Help us to be good stewards of the time that you've given us, the things that you've given us. Help us to remember they're not ours, they're yours, and that you've designed us to steward those things. May every woman watching this please feel that sense of being seen, supported, and invited to join along this journey. Amen. In my next video, I'm going to be sharing something even more personal than what I've shared today. The season that led me to this shift. The next video is going to be called Elegance After Burnout. And it's the story of how I rebuilt my life from the place of exhaustion into the life of intention and grace. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed, stretched thin, or disconnected from yourself, that video is for you. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.